Okay, I'm Ruth Triviana Naibaho and I'm the last speaker from our group, and I will explain about my part. Start by ways of using story until focus reading skill for practice. Okay, start evaluating the language learning opportunities of the story. So when you evaluating the language, you must know ways in evaluating the language. I get in book 6 ways to know yang bisa kita gunakan dalam mengevaluasi the language learning opportunities of the story. The first, real books or specially written ones. Second, will the content engage the learners? Third, are the values and attitude embodied in the story acceptable? How is the discourse organized? What is the balance of dialogue and narrative? And the last, how is language used? What new language is used? So, ketika kita evaluating language, we must know 6 ways to evaluating the language. So I give you sample of simple language. I give in the PowerPoint 2 example. The first, a man stood on a hill and looked at a star. And the last, just a hill or a tree or a flower. And also I give you sample are more complex in their grammar. The rocket was ready, but the was now here for it to be launched. Next, language learning tasks using the story. So I get in book language learning task using story 3. The first, preposition activity. It is brainstorming vocabulary. And the second, core activity. This is reading the story. And the last, follow up activity. It is vocabulary learning. So kita dapat menggunakan tugas melalui story. Ini ada 3 cara untuk memberi pelajaran language learning task using the story dengan menggunakan story. Okay, next, developing tasks around a story. There are 2, listening skills. In listening a story, children are practice listening for the overall meaning. Nah, with a story, you can develop tasks with story like listening skills. In listening skill, listening a story in the class, and you can memberikan practice listening for the overall meaning dengan memberikan sedikit arti atau makna dari story tersebut. And the second, discourse skills. There are 4. The first, acting rules. Retelling the story using the discourse of the story in other contexts, using situation from the story as starting point. Using situation from the story as starting point, there are 3. The first is characters can be transplanted to other situation. Second, the problem of the story might be transparent, and the last characteristic can take part in even beyond the story. And the last, focus reading skill practice. More emphatic readers can read along with the teacher, listening and following silently the first time, joining in the text time, and even eventually reading aloud individually. Some of the new words might also be taught as side words on their meaning as well as established. Last ways to learn language by using story. You can using reading skill practice, like you can give some short story. The first teacher membacakan terlebih dahulu, and the student listening and following steadily the first time. Mereka mengikuti dalam hati terlebih dahulu dan membacanya sendiri. So jika ada kata atau kalimat yang baru yang belum mereka tahu, mereka boleh tulis dan mengartikannya untuk mendapatkan vocab yang baru. I think that's all for me. Thank you for attention.